Gordon Institute of Business Science gathered experts from business, industry and economists to reflect on the year that was and to look forward to 2024. At a global level, it's anticipated that the world's major economy, the United States, would experience a soft landing. That is, it's not likely to go into a recession going into 2024. And in other good news, the feeling is that global inflation, including here at home, is likely to trend downwards.
Inflation should, by the end of next year, be back at 4.5%.
Okay.
Why I don't say that with huge amounts of conviction is that that's also what we thought last year, right? But then load shedding created more inflation. The oil price came out and surprised us.
Schoeman predicted that the Reserve Bank would only likely start reducing rates towards the end of next year. Meanwhile, business said it had joined hands with government to help dent some of the country's structural problems, focusing on key issues like energy, logistics, as well as crime and corruption. Noting that the private sector, through various business bodies, had provided millions of rand to capacitate key institutions like the National Energy Crisis Committee, the National Logistics Crisis Committee, as well as the National Prosecuting Authority to effectively do their work. Meanwhile, business has expressed concerns about country-specific risks.
It's precipitated by geopolitics, it's precipitated by social instability, it's precipitated by the political risk that is going up and the country risk that is going up along with it. It is precipitated by the 2024 elections. Gina has spoken to it. The coalitions. City of Joburg has had 8 mayors in the last 2 years. If
That's
the
quite
City of Joburg, 8 mayors in the last 2 years. So if what is happening at the City of Joburg is going to be escalating to national next year, then we're going to be sitting with a new president every month. I don't know what that looks like. Obviously, I'm exaggerating.
As the country looks to radically reform to improve its economic fortunes, DHL, which has a footprint across sub-Saharan Africa, pointed to several countries that South Africa could try to emulate when it comes to being more amenable to investment and the job creation that would come with it.
I think Botswana, our neighbour, if you look at how they've done, if you look at how they're faring on the democracy index, for example, they're far better than South Africa. If you look at their stock exchange and how it's performed versus ours, they've done better. So I think, there's some examples we can learn from that. I think we can learn from Mauritius in terms of how they're trying to position themselves from a macroeconomic point of view. They're trying to position themselves as a mini Singapore of Africa, also doing better on both the democracy index as well as the corruption index, certainly doing better than us. I think a breath of fresh air for me right now is the Kenyan government. I think that the Kenyan government has become very receptive to the voice of business.
There was agreement among the panelists that South Africa's participation in international fora like BRICS was positive, given the potential economic spin-offs. But concerns were raised around how South Africa chooses to position itself, particularly on geopolitical tensions, especially given that a significant portion of the country's trade and investment lies with the West.
But why weigh in on global conflict?
Yeah.
Why do you have to be so vocal on wars? I mean, what is there to gain other than people worried that you're cozying up to someone and really trying to make your small s a bit bigger on the BRICS?
Yeah.
So that's the problem with the country risk premium, and then it weighs on FX, and FX comes with commodity prices, oil prices, it becomes inflationary.
And then you've got imported.
Despite the challenges, there was a feeling that really good progress had been made, particularly on the energy front, even as the country continues to experience high levels of load shedding right now.
The single most important intervention by President Ramaphosa in the midst of all these crises is when he opened up the energy sector. Okay, he needs to open it up further. There's the ERA that's serving before various parliamentary committees at the moment. I think that will change our world dramatically. But opening it up has allowed us to generate another 4,800 megawatts. So if you're looking at tangible successes, I know that when you're sitting in stage 6, well, where is this? But the fact remains almost 5,000 megawatts, and there's more coming.
On national health insurance, Nicolau argued that the proposed system as currently framed would worsen the plight of the poor, adding that a vision of the NHI where the public sector and the private sector more closely work together would be a better solution. On the two-pot retirement system, Gina Schoeman noted that if introduced in 2024, pension fund members' ability to tap into their savings could boost the economy in the short term, as consumer spending rose, but warned that in the medium to long term, the vast majority of South Africans would still find it difficult to retire comfortably if they'd taken to raiding the savings portion of their pension too often. Nompumelelo, Siziba, SABC News, Johannesburg.